All right, so you have learned how to do a back walkover, which is so exciting. But how do we take just making a back walkover and then make it a beautiful back walkover? And not just that, how do we stay on the beam while doing it? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. How do we perfect our back walkover? And as always, I'm going to start with body position. So important to start perfectly. So we're going to think about from toe all the way up to our fingers. Start with your pointed toe, flat ankle. Make sure your knee is straight. Now this leg, this is called your base leg, very important. You want to squeeze this quad because that's going to keep your knee straight. And that's going to be the knee that tends to bend and crunch down as you go for your back walkover. So keep that nice and engaged. And then we get to our hips. Very important. Got to keep our hips square. I like to kind of keep them flat toward the end of the balance beam, or if there's a wall in front of you. If we have our hips turned out, guess which way I'm heading? It's off the beam. So keep your hips square and in line with the beam. Next up is your torso, your core. Engage that core, rock hard abs, right? And then we want to make sure we have good shoulder awareness. Shoulders rolled back, chin level. Make sure you can still see the beam. We're going to move up from there. Arms up tall. I like to have my fingertips touching when they're in crown. That way I know they're not wandering out here. I keep them nice and tight and above. Want to keep that shoulder angle nice and open as we reach back toward our hands. All right, so that is the first body position. Next, we get to the actual back walkover phase. When you do your back walkover, there's a couple things I like to remember. Number one, you need to keep this leg over the top of the beam. Don't let it wander out here because you're going to be totally off. Make sure that toe goes straight over your nose, over the top of your head, and gets down to the beam in a lunge as fast as possible. There's no reason to hang out in a handstand. Get from that solid start to that solid finish as fast as you can. Now, while you are in a handstand, the most important thing to remember is to stay pushed up. You don't want to be breaking this shoulder angle and kind of leaning into the back walkover. Shoulders up, push up in that handstand, and then we get to the third and final phase, which is the landing. Finish in that strong lunge position. Nice tight hands together at top, straight line from your fingertips down through your heel, and make sure that you've got that good lunge. If you want some lunge tips, you can check out my lunge video as well. Now, if you want to see a perfect back walkover or a really great back walkover, you can see one from my friend Kiara on the Learning a Back Walkover video. Some of you might be wondering, well, why isn't she doing a back walkover? She's an Olympic gold medalist. Do a back walkover. I can't do a back walkover anymore. I'm not stretched for that right now. But I think my crew is going to get me talked into doing some fun skills here in a few of these videos. So stay tuned. I'm going to do some gymnastics, just not the back walkover. I'm going to leave that to the professionals. So to recap, these are the things you need to work on. Number one, start with good body position. Number two, move that toe over your nose and back to the beam as fast as possible. And number three, finish with that strong lunge. I hope these tips will help you not only have a beautiful back walkover, but also to help you keep it on the beam. Thanks so much for tuning in today. And for even more gymnastics how-to videos, make sure that you hit subscribe. And if you want to keep up with everything Shannon Miller, make sure to follow me on all my social media channels.